All right, so Google has updated their Gemini web app with some new features. And Gemini is Google's language model compared to, say, Claude from Anthropic or ChatGPT from OpenAI. And so the three features that they've added recently that I want to cover are deep research, audio overviews, and Canvas. Now, deep research has actually been around for a while in Gemini, and it's kind of like OpenAI's deep research, which came much later, but they recently updated it. And they added the audio overviews feature to it, which is kind of like its notebook LLM audio generation, like podcast generation feature, if you've come across that. I've created videos on both of them previously, but in this video, I'm going to show you the updated version of deep research as well as audio overviews. And then the third feature I want to cover is a canvas, which is very similar to Claude's artifacts feature and ChatGPT's also called canvas feature, where it's kind of like a panel that overlays on top of your web chat app in Gemini, and it can run code or do a bunch of things. So let's start with the deep research. And so when you go to gemini.google.com, you'll see the text box over here, Ask Gemini. Make sure you've got deep research selected. You can also go to the top here and you'll see they have multiple models for you to choose. By the way, you have to be on Gemini Advanced to get access to this. So upgrade, you can get it with your Google One AI subscription, which includes a bunch of free storage on your Gmail and Google accounts and integration into your Gmail. But they have a bunch of models here. 2.0 Flash is the kind of most used model, the flagship one. Flash Thinking is a reasoning model. And then Deep Research is the deep research model that you should be using. I don't really use these other two. So you go down here and let's ask it to do some market research for us. Let's say, you can see some examples here, but let's say I want to do some market research on the AI voice agents market, right? And so I'm giving it a very basic prompt here. I could give it detailed prompts and it'll come up with better answers. But even with a basic prompt, what Gemini does, Gemini Deep Research, it comes back to us with a plan of action here. And so we first can see if this is the plan of action we wanted to take. So it says here, let's define the scope, estimate the global market size, research historical growth trends, so on and so forth, investigate major players, explore the trends, identify key challenges, forecast the future growth. So this sounds like a really good plan. I can actually edit the plan if I want and make some changes. But what I'm going to say is I'll say, hey, let's start the research. All right. So starting the research, it's going to do its thing. And it kind of works very similar to some of the other deep research products out there. But essentially, it takes every section of that plan and it shows the thinking here. So it's doing some reasoning, showing the thinking, and then it's going to go with this first section here. It's going to go search a bunch of websites and it's going to extract information from those websites. As you can see here, it's got a bunch. It's researching 40 websites, if you can see on the left over here. So in here, you'll see a bunch of the websites that it's researching, and it's just going to continue getting us data. Now, this is actually going to take a while. It's going to probably take maybe a couple of minutes. So I'm going to come back to this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over, because this can run in the background, and I'm going to switch over to a new tab and a new chat, and we're going to showcase the Canvas chat. All right, so we're here in the Canvas, in the new chat, basically. I'm going to just go into 2.0 Flash, and I'm going to select Canvas over here. So let's say we're going ahead with this research on AI voice agents. And so one way to test it out is create a landing page for my new websites where I'm building an AI voice agent. And so it's just going to take this. Again, the prompt is very basic here, but look at how fast that is. It just instantly generated the entire code for this web page here in React. And so you've got your React, your buttons and stuff. And so this is the canvas you can see on the right, and boom. This is the web page, right? So you've got it's not really central, but it's kind of good. It looks good. It looks decent. I'm going to ask it to make some changes to CTAs. The CTAs are not centered. Can you move them to the center? Let's see how it does. So I wanted to see if it can figure out what it means by CTA here. So it actually does figure it out. And so it's making changes in the code. If you click over to the code, you'll be able to see the changes that it's making. And there you go. It's updated. and the center. So really cool here how it can just like build stuff for you. The coding is absolutely fast on Gemini. The Gemini language models are probably the fastest models around uh, in terms of like the sort of this SOTA frontier models. Uh, but yeah, this is I mean it's a basic landing page, but essentially you can just now show the console. You can look at see when it runs, if it runs properly, if it's making mistakes, you can actually debug it right here, and then you can copy the code and run it on your own website, or just download it, put it onto your own website and run it. Let's try some other stuff. Let's see it generate code for uh, a snake game. So the snake game where you like move the thing and it goes and eats stuff. So here we go. We're getting code in Python. I did not select the canvas, so it's not actually showing up in the canvas. It's just showing up in app, which is a little annoying because it should kind of just know, because Claude does that. Claude just automatically knows that you need to use an artifact. But let's try it again with the canvas. And so you can see here, again, generated the code. And here, you don't have the preview like you did with the other one, landing page, because that's a React project. Here, this is a Python project. So what you can do is actually export it to Colab, which is a Python notebook, a notebook for data science, and run the program there. You could also just like download the code again and run it on your own machine. But let's try to see if it can do it. Create it as a JavaScript game that I can play in the canvas. Let's see if it can actually do that. Okay, so we're getting it here. We've got the code. All right, this is just pure JavaScript and HTML, and here we go. Okay, so let's start. Let's see if this works. All right, so it doesn't quite work. There's some issues here, but you can see here there's a bunch of bugs and errors in the console over here. But interesting. It does actually give it a shot. Let's actually see if it can just debug it itself. I'm not able to play. No snake appears. All right. So it's making some more changes. It's going through all the code again. Auto start the game. All right, let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay. So let's start, and I guess what are the instructions to move? How do I move the snake? I was using Whisperflow there just to like okay, so arrow keys up, down, left, right. Sure. Okay, cool. So let's go back to that previous canvas. Here we go. And then let's see if I can start and move this game. All right, so still more issues and bugs, but it basically figured out that there was no snake, and it built a snake in, and so that's the kind of the food item there, I assume. The canvas is also useful for if you're creating documents and writing stuff. So let's try a new one where let me write a blog post on voice AI agents, and I'm going to select canvas here again just to make sure Gemini knows that I want to see this in the canvas. And here we go. We see it in the canvas, and this is an editable canvas, so you can actually co-write with the AI here. This is sort of like a document really, and you can just like create the document with Gemini, and you have a few features here down on the bottom where it's change the length, change the tone, suggest edges. This is actually very similar to the canvas feature in OpenAI. They also have these options, and then you can export it to a Google document and share that out as well. So really cool in terms of creating documents, creating some basic website code as well. Didn't really work with the game, but the canvas feature is very useful, especially if you want to create content, which I've used it a lot with like in Claude, and I'm going to explore more with Gemini. All right, now let's go back to our deep research and see how things are going over there. Looks like we've got some. Okay, so we've got a full research here. So as you can see, it's done a comprehensive market analysis. You've got an introduction here, the global market size and growth. yada yada, numbers, tables. Now, what's cool here is you can actually export the whole thing into a Google Doc, as well as the tables that it generates, which you can export into a Google Sheet. And so if you keep going, you can see like every section that we had initially asked for in our research plan is here. And yeah, this is really comprehensive. It's gone through, how many websites did it go through? Yeah, dozens of websites. I'm looking like 40 websites or something. Sometimes it goes up to like 200 websites. But yeah, you've got like a ton of research here that you can then go export a doc, share with people, analyze it even further. Now, here's a cool feature that they added recently, which is the voice overview. So you click on this. No, that's not it. Was it here? It's weird. It's kind of hidden. Oh, it's here. You click on this little drop down and say generate audio overview. I don't know why this feature is not obvious, but you click on that, and then again, it's going to go and think, and it's generating an audio overview of this whole research thing. And it turns it into a sort of a podcast style podcast where it's like two AI hosts are talking about the research found here, and it makes it very interesting actually. So this is a really cool way to like just generate content. If you want to create content for your social media and stuff, you have it go do a bunch of deep research. You can go in, you can make some changes, and then you can have it generate an audio overview of it and share that as your sort of as content in your social media. All right, I'm back now. That actually took a few minutes, and I think it only showed up once I like refreshed the screen, so might be a little buggy there in the app. But here's the audio overview generated from the full research program, and let's see how it sounds.
All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going to be looking into AI voice agents. He says a lot of really interesting stuff, so thanks for that. We're going to try to pull out all the most fascinating and important insights for you, give you that solid understanding of what they are, how big is this market, what's driving all this growth, where it's going, and then some of the hurdles, key applications across industries and emerging trends.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting deep dive. I'm excited to get into it. It seems like this is moving really fast.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's jump right in. Let's start with like the basics. What exactly are AI voice agents?
Yeah, so I mean, at a high level, AI voice agents are basically...
It's really cool, like the way they make the AI voices sound really realistic, and you can see the hosts themselves, the AI hosts, have like the uhs and ahs and when they speak, and so they sound quite human, and it's very engaging in the way that they take this full research plan that you've created and like turn it into a conversation between two people. So really cool new feature, very popular in Notebook LM. Glad that they brought it into the Gemini web app, and I'd love to see them expand this into the other aspects of your chat. So if you're creating a blog content with your Canvas, you should be able to generate an audio overview podcast that can go along with it for your social media channels, right? And so I'd love to see Gemini expand some of that stuff. But overall, super impressed by the deep research. I think it's really useful, and it is available. I think it's available in the free plan, but it's definitely on the advanced plan, which is only $20 a month and a lot cheaper than OpenAI's $200 per month plan, which gives you unlimited deep research. And then the Canvas feature as well, really impressive, especially the fact that you can like edit it and create and share it directly into your Google Docs. So I actually love the Gemini model series. They're really fast, they're really powerful, and I'm happy to see some more features come into the web app as well.